Welcome to Westmoreland Community Connections, a look at issues and happenings on Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB. Here now is your host, Jennifer Miele, Chief Communications Officer and Managing Director of Evangelization of the Diocese of Greensburg.
Welcome to Westmoreland Community Connections on WHJB. I'm your host, Jennifer Miele. I'm happy to be here today with a special guest, Heather Speeny. She's the director of ESCA, that's the East Suburban Citizen Advocacy. They're a small nonprofit organization dedicated to enhancing the lives of people with developmental disabilities. Welcome, Heather.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So if someone knew nothing about ESCA, could you start from the beginning? Tell us, what the idea was behind it, who founded it, how it developed, and what you do now. So take your time and let's hear all about that.
Absolutely. So East Suburban Citizen Advocacy actually is like you said, a small nonprofit organization, and we've been around since 1988. We've been dedicated to working with people's lives and the quality of their life, with people with developmental disabilities. We have started from a group of parents who had children with developmental disabilities. And what that means for people who may not know is that can be an intellectual disability, that could be autism, cerebral palsy, muscular dystrophy, and other challenges that people have that have been present since birth or childhood that last your life. So there are things that don't go away. And these parents basically were concerned about when they're not around anymore, what happens to their children. So their idea was to create an organization where you could bring in citizen advocates. And that's kind of, people always ask what that is, but it kind of is exactly what it sounds like. They're just citizens in the community that mean well, want to help, and build in their community networks of neighbors that are involved in their neighbors' lives. So what they did was they started this group, and it was all volunteers. It has changed a little bit over the years, where they used to connect a one-to-one connection with a citizen advocate with a person with a developmental disability. Now we work a little bit more with teams. With the way our world is, we try to connect as many resources as possible. This can include our citizen advocate, as well as building resources from the community that can assist as well. So we try to couple it with our citizen advocate. Some of the things that we work with now can be individual education plans. We work with our IDD autism waiver system, and that's a funding system for services people can receive with developmental disabilities. We work with early intervention in abusive relationships, people who may need a legal guardian, rep payees. We help them through those processes. We help them with Social Security issues, because these systems are very hard to understand. And so while our advocacy is really based in helping our individuals with developmental disabilities gain a sense of independence and confidence that they can share their thoughts and that their voices are heard, we may have to help them along the way. But that's the most important thing, is that their quality of life is considered, that it is looked at and figured out how we can make that best possible. All of our services are free because we have wonderful individual donations that come through every year. We also have grants that come from local foundations that are wonderful, because without them, we couldn't do what we do, especially for free. So it's a blessing for sure to have them around, and we appreciate all help that we get financially. And really, it just increases the quality of life for people who have a disability, to be able to go through things a little bit better and easier than they would without us.
That's fantastic. Just wonderful to know about this. So let's talk a little bit about funding, because we're going to talk about your event in a few minutes. But, you were talking about donations and funding and stuff like that. Can you talk to us a little bit about how you raise money, where that funding comes from. Maybe this will prompt people to help you.
Sure. Well, we have individual donations and they come in on their own. We don't solicit too much. We are going to start an annual appeal, but at this point we have just people that have heard about us that send in donations. Sometimes it's a check through the mail. People can donate on our website. You can also donate on our Facebook page. So those donations typically have just come in by people who are found out about us and feel like they want to, help out. So to this point, it has just been by their own, way of finding us. We will be starting an annual appeal in the next fiscal year, and that'll be a Facebook fundraiser. So, if you follow us, you'll be able to see that. Our grants currently come from the FISA Foundation and the Edith L. Trees Charitable Trust. They have been wonderful. We've worked with them for a several years, and would love to continue that relationship. And that process basically is where we send in a proposal to them of what we want to do each fiscal year and what needs we have, what our process is to work with the needs that we foresee and our outcomes. And then we have to send in a report every fiscal year of how that process went. What we saw, did it work out the same way? If not, how did we adjust and how did we help everybody in the community in the way we thought we could? So it's always a nice refresher as well to do that report, to think back on all the things that we've done in that year. So we also do fundraising, which we'll talk about. We do a couple events and we're trying to increase some of those events each year. So
that's great. Wonderful to hear about. So let's talk about one of those fundraisers that's coming up on June 5th, the Super Fun Run for Everyone 5K. Take us through the details.
This is our current fundraiser that we are working on. We have sponsors who have come in, and we're now really focusing on registration to get some participants to come out and run for us, walk. However you want to get through the 5K, we're good with. It's not a speed thing for us. It's not so much of a competition. We just want to get a big group of people together, to support our cause, to support people with developmental disabilities, and to show that it can be an inclusive community. We can do things together regardless of our abilities, regardless of, where we come from. We can all get together, we can have an event, we can have fun, and we can all complete a 5K together. We really believe that people with developmental disabilities, there's something about that community that everybody has something special. And I believe that that's true of everybody, regardless of ability. But when I meet people with developmental disabilities, there's just something a little bit different. And that's why it's the Super Fun Run for everybody, is because it's inclusive. It's to show off our superpowers because we all have something different. And that community is not always heard. So we want to give them a spotlight, just like everybody has something different and, qualities that are great about us. We want to really showcase that for our community, show some support, and have a really great time.
So the details on that are June 5th at 2022. Check-in is at 8 a.m. The race starts at 9, and this is at the Westmoreland Heritage Trail. Any reason you selected that location?
We have partnered with the East Suburban Trailblazers in the past with their runs, and it's just been a great location. It's the safety of it, and it's easy to find. So we meet up at the Red Caboose. Everybody knows that in export, as the Red Caboose is a great historical landmark for people to know and to find. So we do have a link that you can find on our website or on our Facebook page where you can register and make sure that you can attend our event and have a great day.
So let's go over your website, social, everything. So how do you communicate with people?
Well, we do have a newsletter. We call it our News Flash. And what we do there is we collect just people that we run across, whether it's community partners, whether it's individuals that we help, donors, funders, and we just collect a big group of emails that we send every month our news flash out to. And we try to call it a news flash because we're trying to keep it as quick and simple for people to read as possible. We find that a lot of times newsletters don't fully get opened or don't get read. So we try to keep ours short, but just to give people the updates on our events, what we need, what kind of volunteers we need, fun things that we've been doing and plan to do. We also can be found on Facebook, Instagram. We have YouTube where we keep a couple videos of educational videos that we have, fun things that we put up, like reading stories, or we have little drum lessons. We have a magician, a couple clips of those for some fun things. And we also are working on a series of abuse videos, which goes along with a different fundraiser that we're working on in June. But we are working towards videos on abuse that you can find our first one there. We also are on LinkedIn, but we don't post there as much as I'd like to. So I'd like to grow that one a little bit more. Our website itself has all of our information, upcoming news, our events, our contacts, how you can help, how you can donate. Everything's on the website. And we really try to keep our Facebook and Instagram with information that you might need, resources, what's going on with us, and then just like positive thoughts and pictures to keep people in a good frame of mind.
Now, the fun run that's coming up, the super fun run for everyone, you have that superhero theme, which is really, really nice. And you started to talk a little bit about that. We all have our superpower. So I sense a theme going on here.
Yes. So every year it's kind of, this is our second year. First year was virtual, but if people are comfortable, you want to come out and show off, like I said, a superpower that you have. If you want to wear a cape and you want to wear a costume that shows that, if there's a way that you can depict who you are and something special about you that you can wear, we encourage people to do that. So it's a creative idea. We're not sure because we haven't got to do it in person yet, but we're expecting some very creative things. And like I said, you could wear a cape, a superhero costume of one of your favorite superheroes, because there's a reason that you are picking them, something you identify with. And I think it's fun. It'll give people something to talk about and share.
That's really nice. So are you looking for sponsors for the Super Fun Run?
Yeah, we are looking for sponsors. We would like to have them in by May 15th. Again, we can send out forms if you want to email us. Our email is on our website. We can get you forms out for sponsorships as well.
That's wonderful. And all that information is on the website. That's the East Suburban Citizen Advocacy, ESCA, Super Fun Run for Everyone 5K fundraiser. That's on June 5th, 2022. Check-in is at 8. Race starts at 9. The race will start at the Export Trail access at the Westmoreland Heritage Trail, and you can visit their website to find out more details. You're listening to Westmoreland Community Connections on WHJB. I'm talking with Heather Speeny. She's the director of ESCA. That's a small nonprofit organization that's dedicated to enhancing the lives of people with developmental disabilities. Great conversation so far. We've reached our halfway point, so stay with us. We'll be right back.
This is Westmoreland Community Connections on Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB. If you have a suggestion for a topic, or if your nonprofit organization would like to be featured on this program, call us during regular business hours at 724-216-1200.
Welcome back to Westmoreland Community Connections on WHJB. I'm your host, Jennifer Miele. I'm having a wonderful conversation today with Heather Speeny. She's the director of the ESCA. That's the East Suburban Citizen Advocacy. It's a small nonprofit that's dedicated to enhancing the lives of people with developmental disabilities. And she was just talking about their funding sources and their big super fun run that's coming up. So we'll get back to that in just a few minutes. But are there some other ways that the community can support you do in terms of fundraisers?
Some of the other things that we are working on, Jennifer, is in June, we have June 26th from 2 to 6 is at the Fox Chapel Yacht Club. We have a memorial concert for Adam Antalik, who was somebody that we worked with and was involved in our network, who passed away. It was a sad situation and way too young. And we went to help his family, celebrate his life and look and focus on some of the things that were very important to him. So the proceeds this year go to East Suburban Citizen Advocacy and the Grind City Hip Hop Therapy. Grind City Hip Hop Therapy. And what we are going to do there is have voluntary donations. We're asking $15 for people to attend. We have raffle baskets, and we come and share. The Needs Hotel Band will be there with special guests of Tina Daniels Band. And it's just a good time to play some music. Adam loved music and, to raise a little money for his causes. As I was saying, the portion of the proceeds that will go to East Suburban Citizen Advocacy will go towards our series of abuse videos. If anybody wants to help with that memorial concert, you can send donations to our website and just put in the note that it's for the memorial concert, and that will go towards that. If you want to send raffle baskets or we could pick them up, you can always connect with us through the website. Those are the things we're doing to fundraise, is primarily the raffle baskets, donations, and we're just going to have a good time. This is our second concert with the Antlik family as well. So this is a good year for us to continue what we started last year with these two fundraisers. And we hope to bring in some good awareness there as well.
That's wonderful. Now, I hear you talking a lot about using videos to communicate the message, particularly with abuse. Could you explain that to people? I mean, I think it's obvious, yes, of course, that there is abuse among people with developmental disabilities, but you're really trying to educate on that?
Yes. So one of the programs that we're working on is funded partially by this fundraiser with the Adam Antlik Memorial Concert and our grants. We are working we work in communication with the Blackburn Center, and we work with Evolve Coaching to put together educational videos that are geared towards educating people with developmental disabilities, because we have found a lot of abuse videos that are educationally based are targeted towards a audience of staff, family, workers in the system. We would like to present our product a little bit different, our information a little bit differently, so that people with developmental disabilities can see and understand in our videos and make those connections. We are attempting to make them trauma informed, so they are not to trigger someone who has had abuse in the past. We are really looking to educate by visual, by audio, and it's a combination that puts it together. And however somebody learns, we're trying to see that through different eyes and ears and different ways of learning. And we have combined, I said, with Evolve Coaching, who is a unique group, and they bring actors together and are filming together of people who have developmental disability as well. So our first video is a overall of types of abuse. And it's a short 4-minute video because we know that we lose attention span. But the actors, the director, the filming, the lighting, the editing, everything is done by people with developmental disabilities. And Evolve Coaching supervises and helps them through those processes, but they really take over and have manned those positions through our first video. And it's been a great experience working with them. Blackburn Center is also our partner in this and helping us write the scripts, put together our images, and really look at how we want this presented. What we're doing with first video is we are currently working on marketing it so that we can bring an educational video to you in your school, if that's something you're interested in for special education classes, whether it's a special education assembly that you're doing, whether it's training for, even though that it's geared towards people with developmental disabilities, if it's something you feel that staff would be able to benefit from, we're looking at community partners that may want to learn more about the developmental disability community and how this is affecting them. We're really trying to look at people who work with developmental disabilities that will help us, residential homes, the services and different places. So we're reaching out to our community and trying to connect that in different ways and different environments. We plan to have a series of 4 in total. We are in the process of picking our topic and starting our script for our second video. We plan to have that out within a year. We're hoping, and really just hope that this goes along with Adam Antelik's memorial is to help people understand abuse, the different types of abuse, how to recognize signs of abuse that you may not think are, where to go, where to report it to. And some of those types of abuse that people may not be as familiar with are financial abuse, different types of exploitation and neglect. People are familiar with abuse that is physical, sexual abuse, things of those natures we have heard a lot about for years, but even COVID has brought on more incidents that we're seeing of financial abuse where people are losing assets. Our guys with intellectual disabilities are being taken advantage of with their benefits, things of that nature, or not being taken care of because someone's taking that money and using it for other things. So that's going to be our topic of our second video, is financial abuse and neglect, to try to explain that situation better, because it can be hidden pretty well sometimes.
This is just tremendous work. Just really needs to be to publicized, because it's just tremendous work. So you keep talking about Adam. Tell us about Adam.
Yes. So I personally was not able to meet Adam because I started with ESCA after he had passed away. But what I understand of him is that he was a very good father to a young daughter. He was a great musician. We have listened to some of his music, and it was really, he was an artist from the heart. He was an artist that really spoke what he was feeling, and he did a really great job at what he did. He will be sorely missed, because I'm wishing that he could have created more. I listened to what we have of his, and I wish that he could have created more, because it was very from the heart, and some of the things that he dealt with that I really feel like he could have reached a lot of people, and made them feel heard and understood, and that they weren't alone. So
he was the parent of a child with a disability?
No, he himself had some mental health issues that he struggled with, but yeah, he was just a father of his daughter, did not really get to grow up with him, as he was taken away really, too early.
So tell me how you got into this work.
Well, I have been working in the the human services field since about 2003. I have a background in psychology and counseling, community counseling. I have worked through mental health crisis. I have worked in the intellectual disability field throughout these years, and it has been in different areas of behavior, of crisis work, of residential work, monitoring the services that provide for this population. And it really seemed during COVID, I was given the challenge of finding a new job, and this position just kind of seemed to fit really well. It was good timing for the organization. My skill set really seemed to fit in with knowledge from different areas of mental health, drug and alcohol, like I said, developmental disabilities. And so it really just seemed to be the perfect fit at the right time. And I feel that when I work with people that have different challenges, whether it's mental health, whether it's something they're dealing with just for that day, whether it's long-term, it just makes me feel really good when they say, you've changed my life, or this has really been so great to have you around. Because sometimes people just need someone to bounce things off of, or just to have that pillar of support. And we have knowledge of things, but sometimes we learn together with the people we're helping. We're there to help them through things, and our support may not always be directing them to a resource connection directly. Sometimes it's emotional support. Sometimes it's coming out and figuring out how to deal with things. It really is more about the quality of our service and not quantity. We really don't try to push through, a large amount of people in our organization. It's about how do we really change their life when they come to ESCA. I'm the only full-time worker there. We have 2 part-time workers and a lot of volunteers. And we can't handle, a large amount with the quality that we do. Some individuals stay with us there, for years and years in and out, or just participating in our events and programming, and they keep in the network with us and help out, that we know kind of how they're doing, year to year. Some people bounce and they come back when they need something, and then we may not hear from them for a while. But helping people and seeing it change their lives, seeing people so ecstatic when something works out, that they've tried and they haven't been able to do, and making the connections, even if it's not us that fixes it, but making it possible and making it reachable for people is truly the inspiring part that keeps you going each day, even when there are challenging cases out there,
You can tell your heart's really in it, and it's a wonderful organization. So, founded in 1988, East Suburban Citizen Advocacy, small nonprofit dedicated to enhancing the lives of people with developmental disabilities. And you do a wonderful job. They are so blessed to have you, Heather.
Well, I'm blessed to have them.